wasp or any other predator. And then we have a beautiful monarch butterfly floating around. But usually starts in around July, August. It starts picking a little bit of coffee, a little bit. And then usually by September, October, we're picking lots and lots of coffee because it's all gotten really ripe by then. We just finished up with the coffee, take the trees down to knee height, and then we let all the verticals grow back, and then we select 4 good verticals and let those grow. So that'll take the coffee tree out for about a year. So we won't get any production out of them this year, but the following year we will. So, and we do a quarter of the farm every year on that aspect. So that way it keeps the trees from getting too tall. It gets new wood on the trees, and because coffee doesn't grow on the same part of the branch year after year. So it'll grow on the first year, it'll grow on this part. That branch will grow so that you got this big area up here that there's no coffee on, and each year the yield diminishes a little bit more and more. So that's why we figure every 4 years is a good number. We topple the trees and then restart them again. So
yeah.
But anyway, so people always ask, now are these fresh trees? I know these trees were planted in 2013 when we planted the rest of the geisha. So
This is the coffee stock market.
this is pretty much. And then it's a good time to go through and replant trees. So this is a transplant, that one. All the little smaller trunk trees, those are probably about a year and a half old, those trees are. So,
Okay.
and they'll be producing coffee about this time next year. So, and then we also planted a couple shade trees in between. That's a Glyricidia right on the other side of that PVC pipe. And then we have some monkey pod too. So we're gonna put a little bit of shade cover over. It's kind of like when you go to the beach, you like to be out in the sun for a little while.
Yep.
But it's good to get in the shade and have a cold drink. Coffee trees are kind of the same way. So they can be kind of a pampered, pampered tree.
So this is my spirit plant. Spirit.
Yep, it could be. It could be.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
Oh my gosh. Smell that. That's amazing.
and we call it, when all the trees are in bloom, we call it Kona snow, because all the trees are white. When you drive down the upper highway here, and there's coffee farms from here all the way down to Captain Cook. And it's cool because it's all white, and you get that honeysuckle smell and all that. And our flower beds and planting gardens and everything else. So
All their own
we
mulching.
also have bees on the farm, which is kind of an oxymoron because trees are kind of self-pollinating, but it helps out with all the other things. We have avocados and mangoes and
Pacamora.
you're starting to get into the orange, into the red. So that's why I say we'll be picking these probably in July. So we'll be going through the field and taking all these that have color on them off. The trees are all green, so these are probably flowers from like December, November, something like that. They're getting close to coming off the tree.
Well, and like, I think the longer the bean, if I remember right, the longer the bean is on, the more complex the flavor.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We always strive for that deep cherry red color.
Yeah.
And we like to leave the fruit on the trees for that long. Like these here, you would have to twist and pull. When the fruit is ripe, you give it a quarter turn and a slight pull, and it comes right off.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and you could feel you could close your eyes and tell if the tree or the fruit is ripe or not, because this has a little bit of a grit to it.
Yeah.
And when the fruit is ripe, it's soft and smooth.
Oh, you can even tell the difference between a green and this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
big difference.
And it's hard. The old Kona traditions, that's the way you picked coffee, was it was all red, dark red. And you know, people over the years, people are getting paid by the pound now, and they're loading everything up. They're the orange, the yellow, the green.
Quality.
Yeah, and the quality just went to the toilet, you know. So we had one group of pickers that was pretty good, but now we have interns that come in. We usually try to get about 4 interns, and they're here from July all the way to January, and they're picking coffee for us predominantly. That's what they do. So easy to train them. Once we get them trained, we're getting beautiful red cherry, and it works out really, really well. So, and so basically everything that's orange and black came from Ben Big. All the rest of it was my father-in-law's and my ideas.
And look, we've got the butterflies on.
Yeah, we've been doing. We kind of carried the orange and black, the Monarch theme throughout the entire farm. So
yeah, this was in all my books, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen it live. This is so cool.
So yeah, no, we used to have bucket elevators, but we don't like bucket elevators because they're a pain in the ass to clean.
Yeah.
Pardon my language.
Yeah.
But this is our sorting table here. So when the pickers bring the coffee in, we have a scale here. We weigh it, keep a tally of who picked what and how much. And that way we know how to pay them and whatnot. But it's easy now with our own interns. I think 14 more that I got to make. So that way we could fill this whole area up with drying tables, and we keep the stuff out of the dryer if we don't. Drop your coffee in, it squeezes the bean, the pulp comes out the back, and then your bean goes out the front. So
this is the old-fashioned one. There's
yeah.
a whole process, or there's this one.
And this one still gets used. I mean, we have small lots that we're doing some different fermentation with or something like that. We'll run it through and put it on this. So when we first started the farm here, we were waiting for all of our equipment to come from Costa Rica. And we had our first pick, and it was about 800 pounds of coffee of cherry.
Oh, wow.
So we pulped 800 pounds on this.
Oh.
And it took us about 9 hours to do it. I mean, my daughter, both of my sons were out here helping, my mother and father-in-law. So when we knew that our other equipment was coming in 2 weeks, we were going to have another pick. So we pushed that pick off another week, and we temporarily set up the wet mill in this area here, so you can kind of see some of the marks where we had it set up at. And anyway, we horse stall that we converted over to a dry mill. So,
wow.
But before I get too far advanced on talking on this stuff, we have climate controlled rooms that we store all the coffee in once it's picked and dried. And we have some whole fruit naturals. That's what that looks like when it's dried. And then we have the honey over here, so you can kind of see the different colors. This was pulped with still has the mucilage and everything on it. This is our competition winner from last year.
That's awesome.
And this is what the coffee bean looks like after it's been washed. So it kind of looks like a peanut.
Yep.
So and if you look in there, there's kind of a pea berry right there.
Ooh.
And we get quite, Gesha gives us quite a bit of pea berries. So, and you have this kind of the football shape perfectly, you know. And I always tease people when, oh, I love pea berry. It's like, oh, you like drinking the defects, is what I always say. And they go, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, a true coffee bean, there's two beans on the inside, they're side by side.
Yep.
Pea berry just never grew and never split down the centers. And then this is what the green coffee looks like here.
Yep.
This was completely full of coffee, but we've milled everything, and we had a huge order, went off to Olympia Coffee Roasters, and then Angelinos in Southern California bought a bunch of coffee from us. Your chips and your brokens come out down here on the bottom. So
That is amazing.
yeah.
So grade 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then we have the Sataki color sorter over here that we run all the coffee through after that. And then that'll give us our grade 1 Monarch Estate Geisha, our Roasters Reserve, and all the different types of coffee that Abby will end up roasting and entering competitions and whatnot and so forth. So anyway, that 10-pound San Franciscan, and then we also have a little Ikawa sample roaster in the back.
Oh,
so
that's
we can
so
do
fun.
a little. Abby will mess with roast profiles and stuff on that one. Try different things, and then she'll convert it over to
1-pound roaster.
machines. So,
It's a lot of effort, knowledge that goes into all that.
no, you're learning every day, you know, and
I don't think I can tell the difference between a normal coffee and an enriched coffee.
Enriched coffee.
It's like through the
Coffees that don't get mixed up.
Okay.
We're going to do, this is a pour over. How are you guys brewing coffee at home?
I do, well,
do
on this
that.
trip, French press, and then at home brew. So in a cone.
Okay. Like conical brewer.
Oh my
using
gosh.
E60 or... You can smell it. It smells so delicious. And also those are, I don't actually off the top of my head know what's out there, but those are going to be darker roasted coffee. So as humans, we taste bittersweet, sour, salty. All of the other flavors that we perceive come from fragrance and aroma. We taste things best when they're cooler rather than really hot. So if you can imagine like ice cream when you eat it when it's really cold and frozen.